Welcome to the Kee To Growth Podcast, Home Services Marketing Unlocked, with me, your host, Jen McKee. Every week, I sit down with top marketers in the trades, from the brains behind $100 million companies to those scaling from 1 to 3, even to 10 million, breaking down exactly how they got where they are and uncover the secret to their success. If you're ready to grow your business and get real, actionable insights, you are in the right place. Let's unlock the key to your marketing success starting now. Welcome back, everyone, to the Kee To Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Jen McKee, and we have such a treat today for our guest. She is an incredible contractor and owner, and she happens to be a Key Heart marketing client, which I feel so lucky for that. But way before that, and I'm super excited to introduce to you today, Jackie Sorensen. So, Jackie, tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Jackie Sorensen. I also like to go by Jackie H Vaci. That's how you'll find me on most of the social media platforms. I've been in the heating and air conditioning industry for 17 years. I went to school for HVAC. Been doing service and install myself for that long. And then about a little over 2 years ago, I just bought the company out from my dad. So I'm third generation in our over 80-year-old HVAC company.
I love that. In your journey in HVAC, just curious, like how many women do you find in a similar situation to yours where they're like second or third generation and have just their company from their dad or their parents or their grandpa or uncle or whatever?
Not very many, but I've been finding more and more now that I'm like getting out and doing more of these conferences, getting into like the Women of HVAC network, that sort of thing. I am finding a handful of them. So it's kind of nice to have the camaraderie, but as far as like in our proximity, like none, no.
Yeah, but I love that you've been finding that. I wanted to have Jackie on here because I think she's done so many really cool things in her marketing, but I also just really love to start at the beginning and like what? So I know I talked to you and your mom about kind of like how your beginnings were in the company, but what are some things that you came in and immediately saw were like, in order to get new customers or in order to get new people, here's something that we need to change? Like, was there something that was being done that you saw could be better? Like, what was that?
Yeah, I've done a lot of things. Are you talking like back when I first started with my dad in like 2008 or when I took over
Let's
the
start
company?
there. Okay, let's start
I
in
mean,
2008.
yeah, I mean, back then it was super, I want to say super easy, but I was like young, fresh kid out of college. And I was like, Dad, you need to be on Facebook. Dad, you need to have a website. Like it was the little things then, but it's actually surprisingly because there's a few contractors that still don't do that kind of stuff or don't bother with it. Yeah, I kind of saw that back being fresh out of college when we lived on Facebook, even in those times. It's like, no, people are starting to have Facebook pages. You just have to have a presence there. Even at that time, it wasn't so critical to post stuff. It was just like a directory, more or less.
Right.
You had to at least have a listing there, have a presence. But yeah, then having like that website, would made you a well-rounded contractor and showed that you were really looking to the future at that time. So we're planning on being in the business in the next 10 years. So
Yeah.
things like
When
that.
did you start?
I know. I like things like that were like easy things, I guess, to implement in a way. Like it wasn't easy to get him on board with it, but it was like easy changes to make and things that were made a big difference. So
What was some of like did he rely a lot on word of mouth or were there some early marketing things that he was doing, like phone book,
yeah.
billboards?
He was very big on word of mouth. Like that was the wholeheartedly, and he still believes that that is the best advertising resource. And I'm not disagreeing at all, but he was very tight with the advertising budget and did not like to invest money into advertising because he'd say, everybody wants a piece of your pocketbook. So everybody comes to the door with a marketing plan for your business and they'll sell it to you if you're willing to buy it. So he was just very tight that way with his finances, and not that that was a bad thing at that time. And especially in '08 when I started was like right in the middle of that recession too. So it's kind of a weird time to try to pick things back up and grow it again, kind of build those blocks again. But
So crazy. We're kind of like almost in a similar time, like definitely different, but probably feeling the same, like for a business that's been around for so long that you guys have some experience in that, I guess, now.
right. Yeah. Everybody, you see like the market uncertainty happening right now, and everybody is talking about it. And I don't disagree that that's happening. A lot of people still make those comments that HVAC is a recession proof business. It is some sense, like people are always going to need heating and cooling, but it still impacts our business greatly when people aren't opting for upgrades like they normally would. And you're not able to keep as many of your staff staff employed, it definitely still affects your company. So yeah, but it's
Yeah.
kind of nice to have that groundwork already or have that experience of living through that recession, I guess. I feel like I kind of am a little more prepared going into the next one.
Yeah. When did you start the Jackie H Vaci Instagram or site, I guess, or persona? I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah, so that was in probably like 2022, somewhere in there. And that was kind of an interesting time where I was really ready to take over the company. And anybody who is in a family business would know this. But yeah, I was really ready to take over the family company. And then my dad kind of backed down and said, you know what, I changed my mind. I'm not ready to sell yet. And there was such like angst there. And I was very distraught that I decided to go start my own business. And so I went prepared, had a business plan, got financing for it, and then prepared that to my dad that I was ready to leave the company or else, basically. And yeah, that was like the option. I was going to go start another competing company and finally decided to sell it to me. So basically, the Jackie H Vaci was me breaking off to get on my own feet. And, it's going to sound cliche for me to recommend a technician to do that, but, realtors do it every day. Although they're working for, this realty company, they still start their own page, have their own following, and have their own clientele. And I still see that with technicians too, that a lot of clientele will follow a technician wherever they go with whatever company they go with. And I think that's going to be more common too when people are more personable and they really get to know their person, that they're get comfortable with somebody in their home. I think that's going to be a more
Ooh.
popular thing.
I think that's so interesting. Okay. So I'm not sure how many like technicians would listen to a podcast like this. So thinking about the owner or the marketing person, like how could they leverage somebody who's already doing that? Because I do think it's very common for contractors to have, or for techs to have a social media. Like I probably hear it like between 30 and 40% of the time, like, oh, we have someone on our team that's always posting videos of what they're doing. And even with our clients, I don't think it's leveraged as much as it could be. So like, how could an owner or a marketing director leverage that person?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's two different ways that it could go. You could either be intimidated by it, and then the technician's going to have their own page and do their own thing, and you're not going to be included on it, or you embrace it and you can work together. You can help them to where they include your branding also on their page as well, which would be ideal. Because there's a lot of technicians that I follow also on social media, but I do not see any of their company branding in their videos at all. And so, yeah, most of their following is going to be from other technicians following them. But really, to add your branding just gives more of that exposure that either people are going to want to come work for your company because you look like this fun place to work, and people are also going to want to buy from those people too. So
I totally agree. I think it 100% be leveraged. And there's always that, I don't want to say like, fear, but of course the person could leave. They could get big enough where they could have a big enough following and they could end up having their own company. But there's an abundance of people that need our work, right? So I think it's a disservice to be scared and not embrace it when it could be so monumentally beneficial for your business to really embrace that and like work together. So encourage them to use your brand, bonus them off of it, like ask them to be the person creating content for your brand. Like there's so many ways that I feel like it could be leveraged.
well, right. And if you're already like spiffing your technicians for leads, I mean, that's just another lead generator that could be coming in too. So, yeah, and I think there's something I have that, once they gain trust in that person too, I think it's something that, I mean, you really just keep the ball rolling on it. So,
Yeah, it's one of those like, what's the worst that could happen, but like, what's the very best thing that could happen too
yeah.
type of situations.
Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, you could do it scared, and then, I mean, you could have a bunch of negative results, but I think if you embrace it and run with it, it could be really great. I mean, if they leave, yes, it could be catastrophic too. But I mean, yeah, it can be great in the meantime, and you can still make a lot of money off it in the meantime,
For
and then I
sure.
still say too that you're supposed to treat your internal clients before treating your external client too. You treat your customers who are treating your customers, and that's you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you treat them well, they're going to treat customers well and keep them. If you think that there's a chance that they're going to leave, then maybe there's something else you need to reflect on too.
Right. And like, I think it still comes back to like, that could happen no matter what, Like, so why not build a really great relationship in something? I think there's very few home service companies that don't think social media can be impactful for them. I think most of them just struggle with how to do it.
Right.
And so having somebody who already knows how to do it as a part of your company is a massive asset.
Right.
And like
And to
that,
go
they
back
think
to
is being
that,
underutilized. realize.
Right. And to go back to that, like worry about people leaving the company too. But if you can provide like social media as a resource or provide tools to enhance social media, I think it's just another reason for them to want to stay with your company too. When you talk about like
Right.
golden handcuffs and things, like especially for my Jackie Vaci page, we also have that, managed underneath the source and heating page and managed by a professional company. So it's like, if we had other technicians that had pages, maybe as we grow, we would also professionally manage those pages, or they would have professional assistants managing those pages where, providing assistance, the shot list, maybe it's like assistance with editing or software, something like that, where you could put on some sort of figurative golden handcuff to the social media as well.
Right.
I could do it.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about some of the really cool things that you guys have done in marketing. So I think one of the big things that y'all do is stay really involved in your community. I think through Jackie H Vaci, you, and maybe I'm not completely accurate, so feel free to correct me, but I think that you have inspired a lot of women. And then you continue to do that as you guys go to high schools and as you go, you're involved in different community organizations. So talk a little bit about what you're doing on that side right now.
Yeah, I mean, we just like to do more of that community advertising. I feel like you get a little more bang for your buck doing that stuff as well. You get good exposure. It usually doesn't cost you much of anything to do it. A lot of what we do is like we sign up for the trunk or treat. We sign up for like health fairs that we've done, other like women's expos that we do. And typically those are pretty cheap to sign up a vendor booth for as well. Like the women's shopping expos, as a woman owned contractor, I feel like we just like blow it out of the water because we're the only contractor in the whole place. And they were like, people are blown away because they never knew that a woman owned a company like that. And then we show up with like our leopard print tablecloth and a sea of black tablecloths. And then we stand out with our leopard and we get a lot of compliments on our booth. And I think it's just getting the word out now in a new generation that we're woman owned and, spreading that to the community of moms as well in the area because I think they're a very trusted voice.
Yeah.
And then we
What do
started
you
our
guys,
top bottle giveaway.
if y'all are at like a women business expo, what are y'all, do you have like swag? Like, how are you, besides the fact that you're standing out with your booth, but like, how are you attracting people and getting them to talk to you even? And you're not selling something there.
Yeah, I do like to have a top tier swag. We usually always have a giveaway of like a Yeti mug and some hats. We always get really compliments on our beanies that we have cute beanies because they're like red and black, white stripe with the pop. So I get stuff that I like and I would wear. Maybe that's selfish or something, but it also just makes sense to me that we don't have a bunch of like old caps in the closet that nobody really wants anyway. So I buy stuff that I would wear. Yeah. And I think that goes a long ways too, that other people actually like it and they want to wear it as well. Like we have some tie-dye shirts that have been very popular that we did for our 80th anniversary. I've made crop tops, which may be controversial, but like them at work, but they're, fun and people like to wear them. So and it actually gets people to wear our gear, out and about as well too. So we started giving away like little ice packs. We have some tool pens that we give away that are really popular. We'll give away little Sharpies. I do some of those reusable shopping bags, but we do like a little bit nicer one that's shiny. So I feel like it relates to us because it has that metallic look to it. The people like them because they're cute and they stand out. So it's a little bit different swag, I guess, than the average one. I do some leopard pens that people always love. And surprisingly, it's the guys that take them by the handful. So,
That's funny. And then you have like your we fix what your husband can't. Do you make swag with that? I feel like that would be kind of fun.
We haven't, but that's a really great idea. I should. I have had a picture of me like on top of an air conditioner that we made into a sticker. And so those are really popular hard hat stickers and we pass those out quite a bit. I also had those made into air fresheners as well with like a little green wave background to it. So they're just a fresh air scent, but it hangs in your car. So it's just kind of that constant reminder. It's just one of those things that I think people, brings you to the forefront of their mind too when they're thinking about their air quality and thinking about smells, odors, anything. I mean, these are all things that we can help with in their home as well too. So
and then you guys do the Hot Mama giveaway. How many years have y'all done that now?
Oh, this is our third year doing it. So
And so you tell a little bit about how you do that one.
Yeah, so it's actually fully installed furnace and AC giveaway to a mother in need. And we take nominations for people in the community that are either going without heating or cooling or are going through like financial or medical hardship that are in need of a heating and cooling system or maybe on their last leg. So we've surprisingly had very good turnout for that. Like as small town as Sioux Falls is, and we're not that big of a city, we still get a really good response to that and get a ton of nominations. We had 92 our first year and then I think 110 last year. We just closed it last night. I don't know what the final count was, but we're right around that 110 again this year. So
I love that. It's positioned really cute. I think that a lot of our clients, so I know it's common in the industry to do giveaways for people in need, but it's like, how do you position it where it doesn't feel like where people don't, because a lot of people don't want to accept charity or accept help, especially when they're really struggling.
Yeah.
And so I think that the way that you positioned it, it feels really empowering. The marketing for it feels really empowering. So I think that that probably makes a big difference.
Awesome. Oh, it's nice to hear. So, we're trying to make it fun and, put a little spin on it. Yeah, not so like sad and devastating too, but it's a fun giveaway.
Right.
It's not like a raffle that people buy into, or it's not based on odds. It's just really based on a need. And I think that's where it's also impactful for the community because they feel like they can make a difference just by nominating somebody for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Is there any marketing that you guys have tried that has gone differently than you expected? So either it like went really well or it totally bombed.
Oh man, gosh. I'm like going back over many years of stuff. I mean, our billboards have always gone really well, but they have to be like impactful and well designed. I mean, we've had billboards that have bombed in the past and we don't feel like we get any like what am I trying to say?
Like leads. Y'all did the
Yeah, you don't get any leads, you don't get any feedback on it, I guess. You don't get that like organic
Right.
feedback on it. And in these past years, we've done some funner billboards that really seem to make a difference when you put a spin on it and make it fun, which I also say with a grain of salt because I go to like dealer meetings with other contractors in the area. And remember, I'm the only woman there. And they're like, they all die laughing at my billboards and they're jealous because like I'm the only one that can get away with doing some of that stuff too because it's woman owned. So
Yeah.
so we do some fun stuff, and it's not for everybody,
But I
definitely
think
we should try
about
to
like
go outside
what
the wheelhouse.
Billboard's points are. Like the
Yeah.
point is you want to stand out. It's like any of your marketing. And so
Mhm.
if you create a billboard like everyone else's, it's going to be like everyone else's. But
Yeah.
if you do something that other people aren't doing, people are going to notice it, which is the whole point. And
Yeah.
so
Chappelle Roan right now, like everybody is on a wave of her billboards right now with the trades, and it's like if people are not riding that wave and make capitalizing on that, they're really missing out on something. So
are you talking about HOTT? That?
yeah, it's got like a whole series of them. So yeah, I
No,
think she's
that's so
probably got a
cool.
half a dozen different ones, or maybe a dozen different billboards that she has out right now. Mhm.
I love that. That's so cool. And so you guys have done the We Fixed What Your Husband Can't billboards, right?
Yep, yep. And then our
Nice.
other fun slogan is the "You're hot, call me."
Oh yeah, that's cute.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, guys could do that. Like Tommy Mello has that billboard with his butt, which don't even really remember what the like wording is for it, but I that's the only part of it that I remember is that he's like
Yeah.
turned around in it. And so I think that there is definitely something to coming up with things that are a little bit push the envelope a little bit,
Yeah.
but like in a way that you're comfortable representing your business.
Right. I know there's some older billboards that were like, "Your wife is hot," and some of
Right.
those are like
Yeah.
kind of hit and miss that can be offensive sometimes. So it's like, especially in today's culture too, you really have to like tread this line of being politically correct, but also being funny and not
Right.
yeah, not offending anybody. So it's kind of this
I
very
always
fine
like that your
line.
wife is hot.
Yeah.
I always thought that was
I think
very,
it's
I mean,
hilarious too. Yeah.
it's like I say it's creative. I mean, I guess it's not because so many people have used it, but I do think it's funny and it makes sense and like
Yeah.
I like it. So I think another thing that really sets you guys apart and you use it as a part of your customer retention strategy is the relationship that you guys have with your customers. And so I know you're still in the field. I know you have other how many female technicians do you have?
None right now, just myself.
Oh no, what
Wow.
happened?
kind of a blow to the ego. No, it didn't work out. So he'd been there
Aw.
for about 2 years, but yeah, it just didn't work out. So yeah, we're on the hunt for another one. But we've had a
Well,
couple over the years, actually. We've had 2 different female technicians work under me, but yeah, just neither of them worked out over the years. So we're on the hunt for another one. So
I still think that when you've told me before that people feel so comfortable having women in their house for the most part because there's a lot of women that are your customers.
yeah, I think, that's a lot of just stigma around, the typical, like, male mechanic thing. You feel like you're gonna get taken advantage of when you go to the auto shop, and you feel the same way when you have a technician come to your house too. So, I think it's just, like, studies show women are more disarming in sales and are more trustworthy. Studies also show redheads are more trustworthy in sales, and
Really?
yeah,
That
actually,
is so
Wendy did a
interesting.
study on this, so
Okay, so everyone needs to dye their hair red.
yeah,
My
I don't think you
gosh.
heard intentionally because of that, but, that's been my defense ever since, so
I love that. But also, you have the opportunity to educate them in a way that feels that there's like no pressure. But I
right.
think then you also take that into social media and you do a lot of educating in your content.
Right, I kinda say that, like, because I started out on that spectrum of not knowing anything and then going to tech school, learning everything from the ground up, that I still, like, hate to say, but I still remember my roots. When I go to explain it to a customer, I try to really, like, break it down in a way that they can also understand it, or I'll relate it to, like, the cardiovascular system. Everybody understands
Mm.
that your compressor is like the heart of the unit, and it pumps everything, and, just,
Yeah.
like, breaking it down for people in a way that they understand, and it's less intimidating instead of just, like, rambling at them with a bunch of jargon. It confuses them. They're like, "What was that did you say again? You said the capacitor for the compressor and the condenser? What was
I
that
know.
again?" And it's like they cannot
Me
use
too.
the C words straight, and, especially in the summertime, it's terrible. So, I think it's just a matter of, like, yeah, getting to their level to break it down to them and being less more disarming about it. But even then, it's still a physical thing as well too, that my dad used to get really offended on because he's been in this business for over 40 years, and a lot of his longtime customers started requesting me to come over, and he got offended. He's like, "I thought that was so nice," and this is all like, he tries so hard to be the nicest teddy bear when he goes to somebody's house, to be, less intimidating and that sort of thing, but it's as hard as he tries to not be intimidating, he still is, just because he's a man, and he's
Yeah.
bigger than you, he's all the things. So, like, no matter how hard you try, it still is how you are, and that's what it is. But, so it's just, yeah, there's a whole 'nother side of that. I still tease that I would probably be the easiest person to kidnap, because you could, like, open that on the floor and be like, "Yep, basement's down, or the furnace is down the crawl space," and I'd be like,
Right.
"I'll let you know when I'm finished up," and there we go. So, and I've been in a couple sketchy situations, but nothing that's been so alarming that's made me wanna quit or anything like that, so
Yeah. Do you think that a lot of the marketing channels that you guys invest in are ones with a difficult ROI to track? And so, how do you measure your billboards and your social media and your personal brand and these events that you go to? I know, I
yeah.
mean, that's a lot of the marketing routes that I take. So, I know that it is impactful. I see it, but it's not. If someone said, Jackie, where do you guys get your leads? Like, those are not the channels that you're going to point to for the most part.
Yeah, it's tough to track, especially, like, even the vendor trade shows, things like that, like, they're just not. I mean, I put out a few coupons, or, yeah, coupon codes, things like that, but a few of them will come back, and I've been on this journey of hard tracking ROI for quite some time, because I know there are ways out there where you can put your phone number on a postcard, or you can have a different phone number on each wrap of your van to track which van they're calling on. But we've
Yeah.
been in business for so long, and we've had our phone number for so long, that we're very sentimental, I guess you'd say. And maybe it's foolish, whatever, but we keep our phone number and we don't do tracking phone numbers. So we really have to rely on just asking the customer how they heard about us and
Oh,
knowing.
yeah.
So a lot of it's it's just like either asking them on the phone or they call in. If we don't get it then we do it when we get to the appointment. And we have our new software now that literally requires us to input that data before we can even continue on our work order. So kind of nice that way. But yeah, otherwise we've kind of been on that difficult train for quite a while. And again, maybe it's just me being naive too, but I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden I decide I don't want to do that marketing service anymore. And now I don't want that phone number anymore. I'm the type that like, I call a number, I save it in my phone. So if somebody's calling a number that we had saved in their phone from 3 years ago when we did a campaign, where is that call going nowadays? And I don't know, I guess it sketches me out. I'm a little bit stuck in the past too. Maybe I'm too much like my dad, but
I think you've done a lot. But I will say I've talked to many people on this podcast, and this is for everyone because you're not the only one that feels this way. But I've talked to many people on the podcast who have like legacy or generational businesses, including like Khadijah Head. It was her parents' business. I don't know the amount of years, but very similar to yours that her and her brother then took over. They still have that first phone number. So they have other phone numbers too now that they use for tracking, but then that's tracked as like a legacy number that they're always able to see. And so you never have to get rid of it. I know that for sure. Like you can keep those legacy numbers but in the case that you ever do want to start to track some of the things that you're doing like that is an option, and you don't have to lose that first one because they all keep them. I ask them that first number you had in the phone book, do you still have it? And they all still have them. So you're good. That's the one you can keep. Okay. So at the end of the podcast, I ask everybody the same question. And the question is, you're on the Kee To Growth podcast. So what is the key to growth?
I think slow and steady growth is the key, not trying to ramp up and be so growth oriented that you can't sustain it. I think burnout will creep up on you quick, and it comes with a vengeance and it doesn't let up until you do. Yeah, I think I've just been in that boat of burnout before and I don't want to be there again. I've set, ever since I even bought the company, I've set these very strict ground rules and boundaries with myself, but I don't want to bring work home. Because
that's so good.
In the company, I have a toddler at home, and I want to be able to spend quality time with him, and I don't want it to kind of be enmeshed where he is. I don't want to say that he has a childhood that I had because I didn't necessarily have a bad childhood in that sense that I was always working or something. But I remember when I was a kid on my sick days, I had to go lay on the couch at the shop, things like that, where I want to be present for my kids. I don't want to always be having my laptop at home, and I can be as glued to it as I want to be, but I don't want to be. And even my husband gives me some flack about it too, because we work together. He sees absolutely how busy we are, how buried we are and swamped. And he's like, oh, maybe we should bring the computer home tonight to do some bids. I'm like, nope, we have this going on tonight. Not even going to bother with it. The bids will wait. And unfortunately, that's just the way it goes sometimes. You have to remember that it's a journey and not the destination. And I have to remind myself of that every single day when I get stressed out, that it's like, I shouldn't be stressing over it because this is part of it. Is we're supposed to be enjoying this. And if I'm not enjoying it, then what am I doing? So it's a tough balance.
That was so good. I needed to hear that. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. So if people want to find you and connect with you, what are your handles? Drop them all.
Yeah, so I'm at Jackie H Vaci. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on Jackie Sorensen on LinkedIn. We're also on Sorensen Heating Inc. on all of those platforms as well. So
we'll put them in the show notes for everybody too.
Thank you.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing everything.
Thanks for having me on.